to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we are in between things. We've just concluded our coverage of the Mission Impossible franchise after Final Reckoning's release last week, and we are ahead of Pride Month beginning next week, where we'll be covering Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And since we had this little gap, we wanted to take the opportunity to do a rare bonus episode. This week's a Q&A. It's just me and Joe asking each other movie-themed questions. It's called On the Spot. We're going to have a great time. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Mm-hmm. Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. So what we've got today is an hour and a half. An hour and a half to ask and answer as many questions as we can in the time frame. You know, we're not going to rush it or anything. We're going to give the questions their due diligence and everything. So, but that's why we had to set a time limit, is because we didn't want to do a question limit because maybe we'd talk for 3 hours. Do a time limit and we'll get there no matter what. So, yeah, we're just going to ask each other some questions here today. I'm very, very excited. And if you'd like to take it away, I'm down for whatever.
I get a start. I get to ask the first one. Wow.
Yeah, go for
it. Thank you for the honors. Let's see. Do I want to start off long, or do I want to start off with maybe a
softball? Ease us in a little bit? Because I'll ease you in. I'll ease you in, no problem.
Okay. I don't know, the question that I was most interested in, and the reason I wanted to ask you is because you're just a good source for movie knowledge that I don't know. I think I like this one. The most influential moments in cinema history, that it could be the movie itself, or rather the introduction of a technology or something used, but a moment that changed film forever.
Okay, this is an interesting one because
I guess maybe that is a lot. I guess
it is a lot. It is a big question, but that's okay. Yeah. It's picking one thing is almost impossible. You know, like
that's true.
You know, I if I'm going to go with like the obviously most influential thing, it would be the Lumiere brothers creating the cinematograph. You know, like creating the camera that shoots film.
Fair.
Now, you know, I'll go a little bit more modern with it. I would go ILM. Basically everything Industrial Light and Magic does, and their founding and their expansion because of Star Wars, and then everything they had a hand in thereafter. Basically everything that branched off of ILM is deeply, deeply important in Hollywood to this day. Skywalker Sound, Pixar was an ILM thing. You know, like there's there's all sorts of stuff that branches from Industrial Light and Magic having existed in the first place. But yeah, ILM, basically just Star Wars itself is a pretty influential and game-changing moment in the history of movies, you know? American movies, that is. It's just... So everything that came with it, and specifically ILM, really, really changed the game for, generations to come. You know, I think a lot of the way that we approach VFX and filmmaking would be massively different, or it wouldn't have been developed nearly as quickly without ILM, you know?
Yeah. I didn't think of ILM. Star Wars popped in my head, but ILM kind of more as the root.
More specifically, I think ILM is. I wanted to get a little bit more concise with it because I do think Star Wars is obviously a big change in the game as far as what movies we were making, and what became the mainstream. You know, but and I think ILM had a big hand in that. You know, when it came to Jurassic Park later on, and the prequel trilogy, and then Matrix, and all that stuff.
Whenever I was writing the question, I guess what came to mind was Babylon, kind of just what the movie's more about, you know, not maybe the movie itself being the moment, and you know, obviously, but just how audio changed the game completely, and going from chaotic sets to
right.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, the jazz singer, pretty influential turning point, I guess, with the first talkie. That's a pretty big deal.
To hear people. Yeah, I don't know. Because I always put myself in the shoes of only knowing a silent movie, that's all that there is. So it did, while people were watching, they were reading, whatever on screen or whatever, if subtitles were popped up. But did they fill in the voices just like a book, like you do in your head, or is it just your narrative? Yeah,
you came up with it. Yeah,
it's always so cool, and that's I don't know, more. Babylon kind of inspired some of the questions.
Yeah, that's where my mind went. That's why I mean, like I like the evolution of that is from the silent films to talkies, and then the evolution of talkies until digital VFX became a very prominent way of filmmaking, and that's a big part of that montage at the end of Babylon too. So I think that we got the creation of the camera, the creation of the talkie, and then the digital VFX kind of taking over after. I think are like the three big, major, massively broad stroke stepping stones. But yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. And I'm gonna really softball it up for you.
Okay.
Just because I'm curious, I probably should have started the episode with a conversation like this just out of curiosity. But just recently, what are some of your favorite first watches you've gotten under your belt in the last couple months? You never got the pleasure of watching them before. You're here now. Sure. You've watched them. How you feeling?
Let me pull up the Letterboxd. Let's see. The most recent one was Novocaine, I guess. With the dad. It was. It's a movie.
It's fun.
It's fun, and that's
love me some Amber Mid-Thunder
there. I guess I do have all of the Mission Impossibles as first viewings, and obviously, Ghost Protocol, kind of, or is it Rogue Nation?
It would be probably Fallout. Is what you're thinking of.
Or I'm down the list. There it is. I was looking at the second to last one, and I missed Fallout in between Deja Vu and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Another Deja Vu. My God. That's probably the standout Fallout, yes.
But like as far as like singular standalone movies.
Right. Deja Vu, I loved that one, and so glad I got to it finally. Let's see, Sunshine, another one. I guess a lot of movies that we've covered.
True.
But that's a standout there. I'd say other than Mission Impossible, that's at least this year.
Right.
Is all. I went through, I guess, the Hunger Games franchise.
Oh, that's right.
Completely in January. The new after Catching Fire was the only ones I've seen before, so those were kind of new. But and then I guess Conclave. It was okay. It was good. Pretty
informative.
Boom. Kind of. I guess I don't know. Pope was getting old. It's not like they called it or anything. It's not like
like Popes die. It happens. Yeah.
Ooh, The Last Showgirl. Yeah, I forgot of it. We saw that.
We saw that in theaters. Yeah,
that was just a nice theater.
That was a nice little viewing. Yeah.
And then the very first of the year, January 1st, We Live in Time, with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. So that's, maybe not a great. I don't know. I'm glad I watched it, but not glad during the it was
right.
Devastating. But yeah, that's the year of first watches.
Love that. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of first watching this month. I've been trying my best not to. I did a strong rewatch stretch in the first like couple days of May. And I've been doing my best to not rewatch stuff the rest of it because I started the month with like the Guardians trilogy and the Avengers movies. And I was like, I saw Thunderbolts, which was, that was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was, it was, my Letterboxd review for it started with just when I thought I was out, etc. Cause it's good. But, I started the month with Pretty Woman. I'd never seen it. Julia Roberts. Richard Gere rom-com. Never. I'd always heard of it. Obviously, it's Pretty Woman, but I'd never seen it. The Lady from Shanghai. Pretty Woman. That's basically the launching point for the entire premise. I watched a movie called The Lady from Shanghai, 1947 Orson Welles film. Beautiful. Got Rita Hayworth. She's incredible. Love her. One of my favorites is Personal Shopper. It's a Kristen Stewart movie that's kind of ghostly, kind of a meditation on grief. She's kind of paralyzed by it. Her brother recently died, and she's trying to like reach out to him and stuff. It's very, very good. Movie called Saving Face with Joan Chen. Loved that. I watched 28 Days Later for the first time.
Ooh, how was that? I've been wanting to watch that for so long.
I can 100% see how it became kind of a phenomenon. I can see how it became a bit of a cult classic. I can see why it spawned sequels.
Is that Cillian? Is he in
Yes,
there?
yes, it is
Okay,
Cillian
yeah,
Murphy.
yeah.
He's the lead. Brendan Gleeson is a prominent feature in it, who was in
that
Banshees of Inisherin.
Is there a new one coming out?
Yes, yeah, 28
years?
years later.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Is that
there's
the
28 days
Boots?
and then 28
Boots?
weeks. Yeah, there's
yeah.
days, weeks, and now years.
Is that the trailer that dropped with the Boots kind of poem being read in the background, or was that
Yes.
different? Yeah,
That's that
man, when that trailer dropped, I was like, "Holy shit!"
I mean, it's
I
got
don't
a
know,
great cast too. It's got Ray Fiennes, Jodie Comer. It's got
Cillian coming back?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, Cillian is coming back, and after the end of 28 Days Later, 28 Days Later makes it.
How does he come back?
It has not at all. It's kind of like I kind of want that to be it. Like there's actually a relatively happy ending for 28 Days Later. Sorry to spoil it, but like the tension's high no matter what. It's not going to be.
Yeah. Is it kind of like a what's the Will Smith I Am Legend? Is it kind of like a that sort of movie?
Apocalyptic? It's a contagion breaks out. A contagion breaks out. Cillian Murphy wakes up from a coma. He didn't. He was asleep when it started. He was in isolation. Woke up to the world basically being wiped out.
Oof.
And it's just him trying to figure it out. So yeah, I like 28 Days Later a lot. I thought it was well worth my time. But the last few I watched, this is just the last couple days. Goodbye Dragon Inn, which I didn't know what it was, but I'd heard just fantastic things about it. Hour and 20 minutes. There's like 2 lines.
Whoa. Oh, very almost a silent film.
Almost a silent film, but like not even that. Like you said, there's subtitles that like people are talking and then they throw up like what they're saying. No, I mean people spoke twice. It was I mean gorgeous to look at, beautiful looking movie. It's the last showing of a movie in a movie theater that's about to shut down. So it's just kind of like it's almost ghostly, melancholic. There's like you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not. Like one of the only lines in the movie is a little bit. But it's entirely during the runtime of the movie. It's just like what's happening in the movie theater during that time, and it's just so it's really there was something really sad about it. But I really enjoyed it. My Letterboxd review was a communal space where the only company you keep are ghosts on celluloid. Its melancholic permanence, gratification not just delayed, but never arriving. Wandering about the frame in search of purpose, in search of meaning. An unending search with no resolution that will carry forth until the movie ends, and thus, so too will you. It was your everything.
Damn. Yeah, that movie got you the 2 lines, it makes you have to think a lot.
Oh, I was locked the fuck in, too. It's a relatively quick 80 minutes. I mean, 80 minutes isn't a long movie anyway, but 80 minutes of almost silence is, I mean, it can be long. And it wasn't. It went. I appreciated that a lot. And then I watched a Ukrainian film 2 nights ago, and My Heart Is That Eternal Rose was last night. That was a Chinese flick with Tony Leung, which I really enjoy. Shot by Christopher Doyle, who's just an incredible cinematographer. And that's kind of this crime romance story. The Ukrainian film I watched was called Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors, 1965 romance film. Kind of that one of those hopelessly romantic, star-crossed lovers, Romeo and Juliet sort of things. But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, those have been my recent first watches. Just to answer my own question, also.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, you had a lot more than I, and a lot of mine come from movies we've already covered. But
figured I'd provide a little bit of variety.
Now that the summer has begun, I'm really hoping to be getting this.
You'll chunk them up. You'll chunk them up. It'll be good.
Good TV down there too. I'm hoping to get on the movie grind. But
yeah, the Twin Peaks and movies.
Yeah. Oh, that's a summer that I can get.
That's a summer right there, baby.
I feel like the actual softball that I should have lobbed up to you at the very beginning is the Star Wars question. I don't know. I feel like this one is just kind of like a fun like who do you think? It feels Anyway, I'll say the question first, I guess, so the people know. But this is kind of splicing the DNA of 5 Star Wars characters or creatures or anything at all that's living in the Star Wars universe to create your kind of ideal character, or being. This is, take out all the ethics of cloning and all, that's kind of not the question. If we're beyond that, and this is just your, I don't know, creating your ideal person, being
the ideal person that I would want to be.
I guess
or just the ideal character, like an ideal
kind of
like
both.
Yeah, utopic sort of like this is the perfect entity if I was combining all like okay. I just wanted to because I'm like if it's like who I want to be with, I have a different answer to the question.
That's interesting. I guess it could go different routes, but
you could go a few. You could go a different few, but that feels a little bit more objectification. I'm going to go more broad strokes here. Just maybe the Bad Batch. Just one guy that is the Bad Batch. He's got Wrecker strength, Tech's intellect, Crosshair's aim. Maybe I throw a little wrench in there, like Omega's faith. Like her fundamental, like just kind of like we're there. Hunter's protectiveness, but they're all kind of protective. So Echo's resilience. There's a few things you could go with, but since this is the movie podcast, I will go with movie answers. First off, this is going to be a hot take, but I think in the Star Wars universe, having a lifespan like Yoda's would be nice.
Yeah, Yeah, Yoda, pretty goated DNA to choose from there.
Yoda's lifespan. Anakin's power in the Force. I mean, come on. Lob. Lob.
Okay. Already OP. Okay.
Already OP. Yoda's lifespan with Anakin's power. Pretty absurd. Rey's fundamental goodness. I think that she's just a really, really good person, and the way that prevails over and over for her is... I think it's... when you have a lifespan as long as Yoda's, I think you need to be as fundamentally good as possible, and I think Rey is the embodiment of that. But furthermore, I think that to emphasize Rey's goodness, you got to have Luke's strength of will. Like belief in yourself and understanding that at any, like maybe you lose faith, but you still have the will to do what you must do. I think that's a good character trait to have. So I've got Yoda's lifespan, Anakin's power, Rey's goodness, Luke's will. Fifth one's tough. Do I go surface level? Do I go like Boba Fett's fit? That'd be dope.
Just the out.
Just the fit. So I've got everything else. I'm all good.
It is his DNA.
Yeah, it's his fit. Let's see. I kind of want someone's maybe like an adventurer, like someone who. And I think a little bit more
Lando
Calrissian's wayfaring, the suave nature of Lando might be a good fit here, because all Lando's missing, and Lando does prove to be a great person, don't get me wrong, but if he was fundamentally good at every turn, we'd be dealing with an overwhelming force of nature. So I will go with Lando's suaveness.
Lando
I'll
that
take that.
lives to be as old as Yoda. Bro has, I don't know, spitting game for a literal 1,000 years. That
might go like maybe the agelessness of Ewan McGregor. Dude has looked the same for 20 years.
That's true. Yeah, he's the Jedi Council. I don't know. It seems the stress would have aged him. It did into Alec Guinness.
Guinness. Yeah.
But no, Ewan. He's good.
But no. I'll go Yoda's lifespan, Rey's goodness, Luke's will, Anakin's power, Lando's suave nature. That would be my spliced Star Wars entity.
Pretty goated combination there.
It is. I like that.
Yeah. Interesting that you brought it of like who who you'd want to be with. That's an interesting one. That
Yeah,
feels
it's a whole other
creating a doll, or I don't know.
Yeah,
it feels
a little
wrong
weird. Yeah, it feels a little weird.
But as an ideal person,
as an ideal partner, basically characteristic. If we did nothing but characteristics, not physical features, it can be not fucked up.
That's true.
We'll save that for another day.
Yeah,
but. Let's see. Let me throw you a goodie here. We have a lot of favorite director and actor pairings. You know,
yes,
a lot of stuff well established on screen. What is your dream director actor pairing? Something that has not happened that you would like to see happen?
Yes. After answering this, I feel like each combination I came up with, it is just, I need these people to work together now that I've thought of this. Sorry, Women is the only thing I'll say. They're all men.
It's a bunch of dudes, a bunch of guys.
So this is all men. I'm sorry. I think just director-wise, I just know more men direct. I haven't really gotten that much of just women directors.
Women-directed films under your belt. No, I get it.
Yeah. So, and then I need the first one that came to mind almost instantaneously. I didn't even think about this. This is the first time I have thought about it too. I haven't thought about it before. Was Jordan Peele and Denzel Washington, and or the son of Denzel Washington, John David Washington. I guess I could be fine with either way, but ideally Denzel and Jordan Peele. I want there to be a horror movie with Denzel at the fucking helm, and it's I don't know. I want. I still haven't seen Sinners. But kind of, I feel like if Jordan Peele's take on like a very beautiful looking, and still mind twisting, kind of movie that he makes, but with Denzel or the lifeblood of him, I feel like that works too.
I like that.
That works for me.
That's a goodie. That's a goodie.
Yeah. So that one was instant. I'm like Jordan Peele. I knew it had to be I guess Jordan Peele was boom, and then it was like, oh well, yeah, it's Denzel with him. So.
I've got a few people I would like to see work with Jordan Peele. Iowa Debris. I would love if Iowa Debris got in the mix with Jordan Peele. The chick from The Bear and Bottoms and all that. I would love to see her get in the mix with Jordan Peele. Quinta Brunson, the lead in Abbott Elementary. I think she'd be really cool in a Jordan Peele movie. There were a few actors in Sinners who I would love to see.
I need to see that so bad.
Oh God, it was so good. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Jamie Lawson. She was she was Bella Real in the Batman. She's in Sinners and she's so fucking good in it. And I would love to see her work with Jordan Peele. You know, I'll give a little love to the actresses as much as I can here. But that's Those were a few that I would love to see with Jordan Peele. I think that'd be fun.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the women representation.
I'll try to piggyback off of some of your answers too. I like because I've thought about this a lot too. I would like to. I'll be down to chime in.
And so now the next director that popped in my head naturally, I felt like was Wes Anderson. And who do I want to work with Wes? I feel like my boy, the next kind of favorite actor for me after Denzel was Andrew Garfield, and I'm like, ooh, I think that these two just have very similar, I don't know, artful brains, and I would love to see what Wes could do with that man. Musical, I don't know, again, Wes musical. With
Wes musical would be the shit, man. I would love that. Andrew Garfield, and you know what? A British Andrew Garfield. He doesn't get to do that a lot, you know? Like, he gets to speak in his normal voice. I think that would fit perfect for a Wes Anderson movie. I'm right there with you. Andrew Garfield musical directed by Greta Gerwig would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, co-directed. Wes Anderson and Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, that would be the shit. Co-written by Noah Baumbach, historically tight collaborator of Wes Anderson's, co-wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox and The Life Aquatic. So there you are.
Seems like we're assembling the dream.
And Greta Gerwig was a voice in Isle of Dogs. So there's also that. We got the team. We got the team.
But yeah, I don't know. Wes was definitely going to come into the picture, and then
I've long regarded John C. Reilly as my favorite. I would love to see. I would love to see John C. Reilly in a Wes Anderson movie. I think he'd be so fucking good in a Wes Anderson movie.
Man, yeah. Wes? I feel like just kind of everyone. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. Like the pieces of shits of Hollywood, I don't know if I actually want to even like. Wes seems to kind of stay away. It seems like he only actually takes in like. He
really stays in his lane for sure, and and he's got a couple in his repertoire who have been, like, yeah.
I guess there's some,
but he's worked with them for a long time too. So it's the other thing is that they are they're part of his language. But yeah, I mean, like Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Liev Schreiber. These are actors and actresses who were like, oh my goodness, thank you for adding these people into your fucking your bag. Michael Cera in The Phoenician Scheme, Benicio del Toro in the last few.
ScarJo, ScarJo in there. Margot Robbie in there.
Yeah, huge.
I
mean, I just saw The Phoenician Scheme, or I'm gonna see The Phoenician Scheme next week. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Turns out they do have showings at the AMC 20. Huge. Hey. Gonna be sat. Gonna be super sat. So Wes Anderson and Andrew Garfield, I love the energy there.
Yeah. And this next one, more of the movie, these two seem to love time. I don't know. And Christopher Nolan, I feel like is just that's his juice. That's what he loves to direct with, stories about time. And who better to work with them than the holder of the time stone himself, Benedict Cumberbatch. I feel like is the movie that came to mind was Enigma or Breaking Enigma or wherever they he's making the computer to break Hitler's coded messages, and he's Alan Turing.
I'm pretty sure that's The Imitation Game.
Thank you. Yes, I'm like Enigma didn't feel right. I don't know. That's what the machine was called, but not So, but I feel like a movie kind of like a historical telling, maybe, or just some time story that Chris Nolan is cooking up. Benedict Cumberbatch, I just like. I don't know. He feels kind of like a good fit for Nolan. That I feel like.
No, I'm with you. That is good. I would love. When it comes to Chris Nolan, it's so hard. Like Benedict Cumberbatch is about as good a pick as any, because Chris Nolan's got a universal enough appeal that I can see almost anybody working with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone who came to mind pretty quick for me just now was Natasha Lyonne. I would love to see Natasha Lyonne in a Chris Nolan movie. Let's see. I mean, shit, to connect it to his brother Jonathan Nolan, maybe Evan Rachel Wood, Dolores, get a little Dolores action in there. Thandie Way Newton.
It was interesting that I actually avoided women with Nolan. I'm like, well, if anything
that's the
about
tough part.
Nolan, he doesn't actually do women.
That's the thing, is that if it's not written by him, I think that's the thing, is that he has co-written all of his scripts, and he obviously has a tough time writing women. I do think that Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt are an exception to the rule in Oppenheimer, and even then they were still woefully underutilized.
Good old Murph in Interstellar. I do.
Jessica Chastain was very, very good. Anne Hathaway was good in that too.
That's true. Yeah. And I think more of. I think that's more like the story elements they're saying of just like, love is taking me across the. Well, no, I don't know. Those were. I love that fucking movie. I'm never going to say anything bad about it.
Has Nicole Kidman ever worked with Chris Nolan?
That'd be I'm trying to think. I haven't seen all of Nolan's movies, I guess.
I don't think she has. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think Nicole Kidman's been in a Nolan movie, but I think that'd be a cool combo. I like Nicole Kidman a lot, though.
Yeah.
She's one of the directors that obviously comes to mind for me when we do this is David Lynch, and sadly, all of my dream combos here will never happen.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, long on that list. I think she would have been very, very good in a David Lynch movie. The actor who I am just like the most tore up about never getting a chance to work with David Lynch, because I know David Lynch would have made a fucking feast with him, is Adam Driver.
Ooh.
I think Adam Driver would have been so fucking perfect in a David Lynch movie, man. I think he would have been perfect.
Yeah,
I think they just had such great weirdo sensibilities, and it would have been a match made in heaven, but never got a chance to happen. So, yeah.
I need the more Lynch movies under my belt. Yeah, I don't know. And so but seeing his show, I could see why Adam Driver would be.
Yeah.
He's got the girth, and then
he does have the girth.
The Lynch juice, the girthy this juicy girth. I don't know.
This juicy girth.
Yeah, it's quite. It would be
quite
on
girthsome.
A different level. Yes, be on a different level. But yeah, Adam. Man, I can't believe Adam Driver didn't come to mind. That's a. I don't know. I don't know if I would have paired him necessarily with any of my directors.
Yeah, I'm like, I genuinely don't know. I don't know of another director I would have been more confident pairing him with than David Lynch. That felt right.
I like that. And I guess I only had one more. I just wanted to get Spielberg in there. I feel like I want to see what he can do with some people. And just kind of the guy right now, I don't know, I do love him. He just seems to be actually a good one in the game with Timothy Chalamet. I just kind of wanted to see what they could do together. And I don't know. This is the one that I felt like they could have had something together. There was apparently some Disney movie that was like, I don't know, the making of Disney that Spielberg helped make, and Timmy was in it for a little bit, and I'm like, that
doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Not a movie. I'm thinking, movie.
Not a movie, not a cinema. Yeah, no, I'm with you. No, it's a good one. Spielberg's a little like Nolan in that way, where I'm like, he's got a universal enough appeal where you throw anybody in the lineup, and I'm gonna be in for it. I'm trying to think of some others that would be good. I would love to see. I mean, like one that we've actually got coming up. The UFO movie has Emily Blunt and Coleman Domingo and a few other people who I'm excited about. I love me some Coleman Domingo. He'd be great in a Jordan Peele movie. He was in Candyman, the Nia DaCosta directed, Jordan Peele produced Candyman.
Yeah. I still haven't seen that. Man, I need to.
That's a good one. I liked that a lot. Yeah. It's nothing groundbreaking or anything, but it's very, very. I liked it. Man, honestly, I'm also a big fan of Yahya Abdul-Mateen, though, the guy who played like Black Manta in the Aquaman movies and stuff. He's the lead in Candyman, and he does a really good job.
I don't know who with, but Manny Jacinto as Chimere. I don't know. I feel like it's the biggest snub
Give me a
of
moment.
Star Wars.
Give me a moment. Let me think. Manny Jacinto. Where would he fit?
Yeah, I don't.
Luca Guadagnino, baby. Put him in a Luca G movie. Put him in a Luca G movie. I want to see that.
Challengers-esque, but Manny Jacinto
type shit. I could see him in a Bones and All type scenario. Let's see.
I want him to do some action. I feel like the dude is an actual like fucking. I don't know. He has the build for it. He has
he does.
The look. I don't know, his face fit. I don't know, everything about it. He has the aura. I don't know.
Give me a Chad Stahelski directed Manny Jacinto action film. That's John Wick guy. That's John Wick. John Wick director.
I could get behind that.
I could get behind that as well. I'd be in for that. George Miller, but he works with like Australians exclusively. That's not true, but feels like it sometimes.
But yeah, it's, I don't know why Manny Jacinto. I feel like that was just I wanted out of the Acolyte. That's what I was most excited to see. It was like more Chimere, more. That was sick. But yeah, so maybe in another world, maybe in another movie somewhere in the future, get some more Manny Jacinto or something. But
I feel like I think he'd knock a Daniels role out of the park.
Daniels.
Everything Everywhere All at Once, Swiss Army Man. that sort of thing. I think Manny Jacinto could fuck that up. I think he'd be good in that. I don't know if you ever watched The Good Place.
The Good Place. I don't think
Kristen Bell.
No, I
William Jackson Harper. It's a sitcom. Super good. Well worth your time.
Okay.
And he's in it, and he plays an absolute fucking dunce. It's so funny. He is so good at it. He plays an absolute idiot from Jacksonville. He's a huge fan of Blake Bortles. It's like his whole character.
He's in Top Gun Maverick?
Yes, he is. Very, very puny role.
Interesting. Was he just like one of the class?
One
like
of the
one
pilots,
of the people,
yeah.
Okay. Huh, wow. Had no clue. I guess he really came into my mind with Chimere, and I know him as Chimere, but that's like not probably
he's
what
got some range. He's got some range, but no, I do think that's where he's hit his stride, though. Like him in a something that I think the Acolyte played with that I would like to see them dive into a little bit more is kind of we brought up Sinners, a Sinners-esque horror movie, and by that I mean an emphasis on sexiness while still being kind of a horror movie. So maybe Ryan Coogler would be a perfect director for Manny Jacinto, but trying to think of some other ones that might tickle the fancy there. But yeah, I mean, Manny Jacinto, just a guy I generally want to see get more work. I want to see him. I want to see him.
I thought
in
you meant
movies.
just see more.
Yeah, that too. That too. I would like to
see.
I would love to see that guy more. Park Chan-wook, he'd be good in a Park Chan-wook movie. He's the director of The Handmaiden, which we'll be covering at the end of next month.
Yeah, this I don't know. This is a very open, like this. I feel like this could be a question.
Yeah, I'm like, if you just name actors, we could do this all day. I would love to do that.
But I can't believe. I don't know. Out of like Denzel, Andrew Garfield, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I think Manny Jacinto was presented with the question like, who would be the good director? Like, you had directors for the other people, so like it's another ball game. But yeah, I hadn't even considered him, so that's and he's a little on the a lesser known side compared to some of the names we threw out. So like it does bode well for a fun journey there. So yeah, that's a whole other game. We could do that for an entire episode at some point if we wanted. But
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, sorry, women again for not.
I tried my best to get a balance in there. Yeah.
And that was good. But yeah, maybe a wake up call a little bit. I need to get some. I need to just watch some more women made movies.
Watch some Alice Rohrwacher. La Chimera. You loved La Chimera.
Yeah.
That's a goodie.
Yeah.
I mean, Catherine Bigelow is one of the goats with Point Break and all those good ass movies she did. Celine Song. We just had Past Lives.
True.
That's a goodie. Celine Sciamma is a good French film director. I like her a lot. Yeah, there's some goodies out there. You just gotta go searching just a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's I guess that's all I came with. Those are all my answers that I wrote down, at least for to think of.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know. That one, I don't know. Do you have any yourself? Because some answer, I answered some of my questions sometimes, but then others I just left.
No, I mean I answered it as much as I wanted to. I think I don't have many more beyond like the one I came prepared with was the Adam Driver David Lynch one, and then I was happy to build off of other ones you did. That. So
David. I was trying to get David Lynch in there, but it felt wrong because I haven't really seen his movies, and I don't feel like I could say quite yet. But
no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see.
Yeah, what you got for me? What's next?
Let's go with I think The One. I don't know.
We
kind of bridged it a little bit. It's kind of building off of this. I don't know. It's kind of this question, but on steroids. But this is you're making your dream movie basically, and you're casting all the actors. You're picking a director. If it's not you, you can place yourself anywhere you want if you want. But then if you want to,
then I'm all of the above, baby. I came up with so Joe sent me this question ahead of time. I'll read it verbatim. What he wrote was, "You're the executive producer / director / whoever you want to be. Unlimited budget. You can cast or hire anyone alive or dead. Who are you casting, and what movie are you making?" So you sent me this one ahead of time, and thankfully you did because I have quite the response for it.
Yes,
I wrote
you did.
basically an entire fucking treatment for this shit. So I'll dig into it here. Humphrey Bogart, lead in Casablanca,
Okay.
is the president of the United States.
Okay.
He has risen to power on an incredibly liberal and leftist policy. He is a beloved man, but his administration is masterful in the art of propaganda. He took over the presidency from a far-right Republican whose policy hurt his own citizens as much as he did the rest of the world. Bogart's character has too much nationalism to put himself above his citizens, but not the world. In the shadows, his administration chips away at other nations, lining his own pockets with wealth garnered and plundered from what can only be described as conquest. This truth is hidden from public eye and known only to a tight inner circle, a group of men known as the Cabal.
Whoa.
The Cabal consists of the president, Bogart, the vice president, a yes man who is seemingly incapable of thinking for himself, committing to Bogart's every whim, a rather darkly comedic character in an otherwise darkly dramatic movie, played by Jack Nance.
Jack Nance?
Pete Martell.
Okay. Let's go. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, President Bogart. And I haven't come up with names for the characters besides like titles and stuff. So like I'll just refer to all of them as the actor name. So right now we've got President Humphrey Bogart, Vice President Jack Nance.
Yup.
We've got the Minister of Propaganda, known publicly as the Press Secretary. She is conniving and ambitious. She is the youngest member of the Cabal, and she has worked very hard to get there. She bows to the whims of Bogart because she has aims higher than where she's found herself. She does not have a moral compass, but she does have a spine, and the job belonged to her father before her. This role is played by Brie Larson.
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby position.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
the Cabal consists of only 4 other people. The Grand General, a wartime hero from the previous administration that has shown incredible tact in serving Bogart's agenda. He wears an eye patch with a prominent scar extending vertically above and below it. This role will be played by Forrest Whitaker.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Samuel L. Jackson for a little get a little Captain Marvel connection.
That's probably the influence for the scar extending above and below an eye patch, though, subconsciously. But yeah, Forrest Whitaker playing the Grand General. And the other 3 members are the 3 most prolific CEOs in America. One which controls a multimedia conglomerate which has achieved a near monopoly on the industry, making Larson's efforts as press secretary all the easier. He is charming, beloved, and very philanthropic in America. He is played by Kyle MacLachlan. Now Kyle MacLachlan, not then Kyle MacLachlan, now Kyle MacLachlan.
That's what he looks like now. Wow, I think this is the first time I'm seeing him.
Yeah, he's
right
great.
now.
He's a silver fox. He's got a sweet old man thing going on. Not old man, but older man thing going
I
on.
dig the glasses.
Yes,
I
yes,
like
and that's
the
exactly the
glasses.
vibe I'm going for. I want him to be charming. I want him to present as a very good person. And that's important. Another CEO which controls America's energy interests, all of them: hydro, solar, nuclear, oil, otherwise. A deeply sinister man who stays from the limelight, something of a mystery to the general public, save for his appearances in the background of presidential addresses. He is played... What's that?
Okay. Elon Musk a little bit in the present day.
But we all know a little bit
that's
more
true.
about Elon than we'd like
Kind
to.
of a lesser known. Yeah. The Elon we wish we had actually.
Yeah,
The one we
whoever
didn't
the
know
guy,
about.
whoever the billionaire is that we do not know the name of standing behind
that's
him.
scary.
This role would be played by Gene Hackman.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I like.
The last is a generationally wealthy magnate whose family has ties to the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. The country's physical infrastructure falls almost entirely upon his company. He is a reserved man. He plays his part, but keeps to himself. No one really knows what he's thinking. He is played by Coleman Domingo.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So that's the background for the villainous entity, the administration. I've only got a couple paragraphs left. Bear with me.
A couple paragraphs left.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's all.
This is great. This is the more than I could have ever dreamed for this.
Yeah, I went in for this a little bit. I kind of want to make this now, but all right. So the administration has done all it can to keep its citizens happy, black or white, straight or gay, trans or cis, as long as you are American. In the wake of the fall of decade in and decade out Republican election fixes that kept the party in control for 16 years, they rewrote the rule book. The Grand General led a coup which saw the end of the previous administration. America shifted massively from discriminatory policy targeting queer folks and people of color and became a bastion of liberty and justice for all. The only thing that had not shifted from one administration to the next was the immigration policy. Under Bogart, meeting someone with an accent from beyond the United States was near impossible. Granted, they didn't have to do much of the deportation. Most of the work had already been done by the Republicans. All they had to do was make sure nobody could ever get in. The border wall had already been built, and the policy was already in place. All they had to do was make life for Americans so perfect that they could almost forget that there was a whole world outside their walls. International travel was limited to American-controlled and occupied territories, which at this point made up a massive portion of the world. These territories saw a subtle martial law implemented, and the crackdown on any rebellious activity was swift. So America has interests all over the world, which happened to coincide with the energy magnate played by Gene Hackman, mostly.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor-esque. Yeah, I guess that might be why I made him Gene Hackman also. But in the information age, keeping such occupations away from the prying eye of civilians was near impossible. But with effort, it was massively and consistently contained. The only breaches in containment resulted in an extremely fringe, humanist movement that sought a world without borders, an opportunity to share America's vast resources, medicine, and general prosperity with the world, regardless of their status. This group was referred to by the administration as broadband. Broadband, both for their extremely fast and efficient demonstrations and clear computer expertise with their ability to hack through their propaganda and make sure that people can hear their voices.
I like anonymous kind of
anonymous-esque, yes. They were seen as conspiracy nuts as the propaganda dictated, but they sought to spread the truth of America's actions abroad. Broadband was for nearly the entirety of Bogart's 5th, 6th, and 7th terms. A series of peaceful demonstrations, sit-ins, marches, and small-scale data breaches. Until one day, in the midst of Bogart's 8th term in office, as he pursues his 9th, their operation went international. So, that's to say, Bogart has held office for 32 years.
That's not
incredibly unconstitutional.
Yeah, okay.
Their operation went international in an election year. We're also in an election year. That's another part of it. Their operation went international. A strike at the heart of American-occupied Morocco. 0 civilian casualties and the complete destruction of a military base. The administration had underestimated broadband's reach, and they would not do so again. Thus, the Secret Service is never to leave Bogart and the rest of the cabal's side, and each member of the cabal was assigned to them a select member of the service. You can work out the logistics of a rotating service that needs to be with them at all times, but there's only a few main ones that matter. The primary serviceman is hopelessly devoted to Bogart and will act on his and the Grand General's every whim. He had been the head of the Secret Service for the last Republican president and played a key role in the coup which led to Bogart's rise. He is played by Lance Riddick.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I've got a few RIPs in here, but they were too good to pass up on when I thought of them in my head how to portray them. Lance Riddick felt like the perfect player for this. Riddick's number 2 is a boy he helped raise from young. A boy orphaned at 5, the son of second-generation immigrants from India. They were killed by the previous administration in a sting operation that aimed to take out the leader of a rebel cell fighting in the fleeting civil war directly preceding Bogart's rise to power. There's a lot of lore here. There's a reason Bogart's been in office for 32 years. So fleeting civil war that happened directly before Bogart's rise to power. There was rebellion against the Republicans. This boy who is now the second the second in command in the Secret Service, his parents were killed, and they were rebels. Riddick raised the boy like his own, along with a portion of the team of men and women who now serve on the Secret Service. Kind of an inquisitorious sort of thing, but from young.
Gotcha.
He did always take a special interest in this second in command, though. He is our protagonist, played by Dev Patel.
Yes, maybe a little Pacific Rim, Lance Reddick. No, that's not him. That's Idris Elba.
That's Idris Elba. Yeah.
Second in command. I don't know, kind of.
Yeah, kind of though. Yeah, that is kind of the vibe I'm going for. That dynamic a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, when it came to Idris Elba and the chick, yeah, for sure.
Dev's perfect here.
Perfect. Yes, second in command of the Secret Service. And I say second in command, he's just Lance Riddick's right-hand man. Like he is his go-to. He's like his son. And he's got pseudo-siblings in the Secret Service who he was raised around who came from similar circumstances. Others on the service, these important members include Daniel Kaluuya.
Nice. Always
Lily Gladstone.
Okay.
And Katie O'Brien.
Okay.
One of the people that were relatively the same age, close to that same age range. They grew up together. They're kind of like siblings. They're all in the Secret Service. They were brought up as near siblings, and now they all sought the protection of the Cabal. They were made for this. Trained since youth, they've become death machines, capable of killing anyone with anything. They have not had to utilize this capability, but they certainly have it. They were each assigned a specific member of the Cabal to protect. Kaluuya saw to the protection of Hackman, the energy magnate who is sinister and in the shadows. Gladstone and a partner, unnamed, doesn't really matter, saw to the protection of McLaughlin and Larson, who due to the close proximity of their work were nearly always together and almost certainly carrying out an illicit affair. O'Brien saw to the Grand General, who initially refused protection but decided that having someone watching the side he cannot see may be for the best. And lastly, Dev Patel was assigned to Coleman Domingo, the infrastructure magnate. Only 2 members of the service are allowed in the actual room when the Cabal convenes, Riddick and his right-hand man, Patel. The rest guarded every door outside due to the rapidly accelerating threat of broadband. Upon learning the truth of America's dealings internationally, Patel became jaded. He is unsure if his moral compass can allow for what he's learned, but he stomachs it. He does his job, as Riddick has taught him. Plus, he works most closely with Domingo, who he comes to see as having far and away the cleanest hands in the operation. His job wasn't to lie to the people or plunder other nations' resources. His job was solely to make Americans more comfortable. So, he feels like he's working for the best one. Maybe he can stomach it. Maybe he can be okay with it. Patel and his team, specifically, were instructed to target broadband with everything they have, find their base of operations, and bring their leadership back to DC as prisoners. When located, they plan their sting. They're ready to go. Let's do this shit. The night preceding the operation, Patel receives a note, which he finds on his person. Unsure of how it got there, he is intrigued. It possesses a location and a time. He decides to go. There, in a darkened alley beyond the reach of the surveillance which plagues DC's streets, Patel arrives to find a hooded figure who tells him the truth of what's to come, a Luthen-esque entity here. He explains thus. Bogart's plan for expansion had been met with staunch opposition by global superpowers Russia and China, and in an effort to head off nuclear war, his expansionist ideals have ceased. His new plan to combat this is to implement exceptions to his massively anti-immigration policy. In the wake of a rumored contagion, which will see to the death of millions across Europe, Eurasia, Northern Africa, and West and Southwest Asia, thousands of survivors who will be saved by American forces, inoculated, and transported safely back to the States will be given refugee status. The truth of this contagion is that there isn't one. That's just what the Americans will be told. America will, in fact, be targeting its staunchest opposition in Russia with nuclear attacks, framing its own allied nations in Europe and occupied regions in North Africa as acting beyond the knowledge of their purview. They're claiming no responsibility. Their allies acted singularly. So, they choose to abstain from a conflict they are solely responsible for. They watch as the rest of the world wipes itself out, and they are able to pick at the carcass of that which is left. International travel will be banned, and freedom as they know it will be limited beyond comprehension without the nation's people ever understanding why or how. Patel doesn't see a reason to believe this man. He accuses him of being a broadband conspiracy nut. He doesn't know how right he is. This man was the founding member of Broadband and has been doing everything he can to take down this administration peacefully, but the time has now passed. It's time for revolution. The man removes his hood. It's Coleman Domingo. He's in the cabal. He's in it. You know, he's on the inside. The movie thereafter is these two working closely together in secret to try and expose Bogart for his lies and stop his plan before it can be enacted, and stop anyone who gets in their way, even if Patel may look at him as a brother.
Are you telling me that was just the intro? That was just the
That's all. That's a really important. I mean, like it would be like the entire first act of the movie.
Okay,
like it would be a lot.
I was gonna say, damn. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't work on the rest of the movie. Like there's still a middle and end that is not there.
But damn.
But yeah, the way I see it, Hackman. You know, Domingo has an influence on Patel. Hackman has an influence on Kaluuya. Those are kind of like the primary rivals, you know, and then Gladstone and Katie O'Brien pick their sides and so on and so forth. And like the main conflict is with those four secret servicemen who grew up together. You know, I think that would be the dramatic tension there. I also imagine, you know, Coleman Domingo is a Luthen type figure. I do imagine like his secretary or his assistant, you know, he has a Clea type figure in his corner, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a thing yet or if it is happening, but basically Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, but for just like movie or these real world scenarios. Like take the fantasy out of it, but have the setup and then like play through a revolution or like think of the movie.
I mean, you could do a D&D campaign that's like, entirely set in the real world if you wanted, you know, like it's
and like play this out. Because like on one hand, this is an incredible story, but then like on the other hand, it's like I want to bury this far underground so that it never happened. You know, it's like it felt a little too real at some point. So I'm like, putting this out there in the world would give, I don't know if it's not. Well,
it's
in motion,
the way that I see it. It's kind of it concerns itself with an overcorrection from the opposition party, from the Democrats. If things go as badly as they seem to be going, imagine if things got even worse. Like, and that's the thing. I liked the idea of disguising it as perfect, as utopia, but there's stuff going on that we can't even comprehend. You know, I like that idea. And propaganda, truth, burying truth, and you know, like it's a good. I liked the premise a lot, and it's universal. You know, it's nothing new, but I think that the approach to it could be fun. And if I manage to book all these actors, you know, we've got a movie on our hands. But
I think we're there. Yeah, it might be a little tough to get Humphrey Bogart up in here.
Yeah,
and,
Gene Hackman, Lance Riddick.
Damn, Jack Nance, rest in peace.
Yep,
man,
Jack
he died
Nance.
at 53. Dang, that's sad.
Really, really sad circumstances. Jack Nance died under too. That's
Oh, dang. Maybe I don't even want to know.
Not yet. Not for today. We'll talk about it later.
Damn. But no, yeah, this I had no. I knew this question. It was the first one that came to mind, and I'm like, I know you're gonna love this. Like this one, it was basically like a Chat GBT prompt, but for way better. A better
you get a
mind
human to
for
answer.
this. Yes,
Yeah,
like the actual good answer that I don't know. So it was. I didn't expect this level though.
I tried. I tried really hard on that. I went in.
Yes, you did. Yeah, and I applaud.
And now there's some particulars that probably need to be ironed out, but it's a good premise, I think.
You went that's why I said like had this D&D kind of analogy is like as the game master or whatever the head, like the person
Dungeon
that has
master.
to create the whole story and everything from the jump. Like you would just be in an
well, now I didn't even think about that. I'm like, damn, now I do have to do that, don't I? I do. I will have to do dungeon mastering at some point. But
yeah, I think the nerds are onto something. Geek with me, maybe
geek
a little.
With me. Maybe we get a dungeons.
D&D,
maybe we get a D&D thing going. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
G&G, geek and geek, or I don't know. We'll iron it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, as Ethan Hunt would say. But all right, that means I've got a question for you now.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't think I have any prepared on that level. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
I knew I went above and beyond for that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Let's go with all right. Let's go with this one. What movies are most responsible for the broadening of your tastes and horizons?
Yes.
What movies expanded the world for you,
This isn't even one I took down, but one we just talked about earlier, Babylon. Not really. It was more that it got me to think about movies differently, and kind of a different thinking of it. The movie itself was still great, but I think it was more of like what it got me to think of. But the actual answers that I'm thinking, they're a lot older. I think this is whenever I started just getting into the older movies and watching and not really caring. Like there was part of me that was like, oh, black and white. Why would I watch a black and white movie? Or like, why would I watch an older movie whenever we have all this technology, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, like I don't know how I was ever in that mindset. But the like Casablanca, I feel like is just once I finally got there, and I'm like, oh, like holy shit, this is what movies can be. It doesn't matter what time it is. There is always going to be a masterpiece of every era, sort of thing. And that one was beautiful to watch. Joan of Arc was really, really, I think, just seeing, I don't know, the French Revolution for one. That story is great, and then just the nature of the silent film. Was really, really cool. I put MASH on here for starting the 52-year journey. I think that was huge. Like I don't know if MASH in itself was
more what it represents. Yeah, I'm with you. The 52-year journey through film is a massive turning point in my intake of movies.
Yeah, and
for those who don't know, that's something we did on the Penny Bloom podcast prior to the Cinementalists. We did that in the year 2022. Which is insane now.
Man, holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, we did that in 2022. We covered a movie every Friday for the entire year, and it was from the years 1970 through 2022, one movie per year, one movie every week. It was a lot of fun. Started with MASH for 1970, ended with Everything Everywhere All at Once for 2022, and did every year in between. Great project, so much fun, and massively expanded our tastes for sure.
Yeah. So, and even then, like there were movies like Pulp Fiction and I'm trying to think of others that I didn't necessarily like on the first
Scarface.
watch there. Yeah, and that I find a whole new appreciations for now. So it's that project was huge. And then I also put Wes Anderson. Just all of him. Not any just one. I just Wes Anderson at large. I don't know. I thought before I got into him, I knew of his movies and I knew of his kind of style, and I thought it was too artsy. Like I thought it was too
pretentious
much for a movie. Yes,
almost.
I need like I prefer the reality. I prefer as real as things can get. But no, now I've learned the I don't know, that fantastical nature can prove to be a lot more useful in storytelling, and I don't know, it can make things hit a lot better, or a whole different world that can be unlocked. So yeah, Wes opened just a new favorite director entered the ball game with Wes, so that one was pretty huge there. And the only other one that kind of came to mind was Batman for whatever reason. It's not really broadening my horizons, but it got me to appreciate like just comic book movies still. Like they could still be good and comic book at the same time. I don't need to justify liking a comic book movie
Right.
if it's just good. It's a good movie, I don't know. So like it got me to get that kind of ego, or kind of movies are just movies, and it doesn't it doesn't matter what they're made for if they're just made well. So it's not really in as the same of all the other movies here, but anytime I can mention the Batman, I'll bring it up. I love that movie, but yeah, definitely the asterisk.
I love it
on that list. But
all right, yeah, I've got a few here too. I'd like to. I'll throw these out because this is one that I've always loved considering. I'm not going to go with where it branched to. I'm going to go with where it branched from, and Star Wars. Deeply important.
True.
Now, it wasn't for a very long time, but eventually, when I got to a certain age, I was like, what made Star Wars Star Wars? And I was like, let's go watch Kurosawa. Let's go watch some old Westerns. Let's go, so Star Wars is responsible for that expansion, and then, but like I did have to enjoy them once I got there. So Hidden Fortress, Seven Samurai, those were a couple biggies for me from the Kurosawa catalog before I eventually dove into a couple more. I really, really enjoyed those. But even prior to that, I've always regarded two specific movies as being the most expansive on my tastes. First one is La La Land.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh,
I was anti-musical. I was like, why would I need to watch a musical? That's corny. That's stupid. I don't want to hear singing. I just want them to act. Fuck it. Now, I'd prefer any given movie's a musical. You could make any movie a musical, and I'd like it more. And that is because that's because I watched La La Land, and I was like, wait a second, do I like musicals? And it turns out, yes, I do. And the other one is Parasite.
Ooh, yeah, not like a foreign,
a foreign film. That was and that is why, and that is why it was the first foreign movie I watched. I was 19, 20. So even then, like by many standards, that's pretty late to the game. But like, the way that it literally opened the world up. Now, like where there was already an unlimited amount of movies I could watch from America. Now there is an unlimited amount of movies I can watch from the entire world, and I think that I owe that to Parasite, to expanding my tastes. So yeah, La La Land and Parasite have always been what I've regarded as foundationally expansive for me to go, oh wait, that's a whole new thing that I didn't previously accept was possible. So yeah. I love those.
Didn't think of the musical. Yeah. La La Land and Tick Tick Boom. Definitely both of those got me to be like, oh, no, musicals are goated. Like, no. It's
and that's the thing, too, is like you spend most of your time with musicals when you're young.
Yeah.
And
true.
The musicals you watch when you're young are like,
it's like,
I mean, they're stupid, like and don't get me wrong, Grease is good. High School Musical's fine, but they're, you watch a lot of kids musicals when you're younger. You don't realize that they do make them for adults.
Yeah. It's been around for quite some time. It's been, I don't know, way older than movies, musicals.
Yeah.
Or plays. Yeah. I don't know. Just, on the stage, it's kind of a cool world blending of musicals and movies, and like what that means for, I don't know, like the fact that we live in a time where we are seeing musicals recorded now, I don't know, not live, and that it is, I don't know, during the movie. That's, but man, I don't know, I should have put Tick Tick Boom or La La Land on here for sure, for me as well, because they They opened my eyes.
Massively eye-opening. Singing in the Rain, big one too. Love Singing in the Rain, but I didn't watch Singing in the Rain until after I watched La La Land, so I can't give it credit there. I love Singing in the Rain though. That's one of my favorites, man.
I think I watched that in school. I think maybe like elementary school, even. I feel like they like in music class. In the rain. I think. Singing in the rain. Mary Poppins, is that a musical? Is Mary Poppins? Yeah, I think she sings, right?
I think so.
I think that was a school viewing as well.
I had to watch Oklahoma in school, which
Oklahoma. I've never.
I don't know if I would. I don't think this is one that I would be like, oh, that was actually great. I think that I did just find that a little boring, and maybe I would. Maybe my tastes have expanded enough that I would like it because that was my 11 or 12-year-old brain. It was like, this sucks. A bunch of
Polar Express.
Polar Express, big one.
That's I don't know. I've gone away from Polar Express. The Holdovers has taken over for the Christmas movie. Yeah, so it used to be the Polar Express though. I don't know. So
Polar
but I think
Express.
Yeah, hot chocolate. Yeah. Fuck. Hot chocolate. Fuck. Yeah, that's
yeah, that's the good shit. That's the good shit.
But musicals, man. Yeah, how did I not think of that? But I guess I was more whenever I thought of the question, it was more of like my horizons were broadened, I think, most just by being able to watch old movies, being able to, like, even the old Tron. I wouldn't be able to watch that
dude.
Before.
I love the original Tron movie, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the further I'm removed from that movie, which this does relate to another question I have that we will get to. Further removed I get from that after one view, I love it. I don't know what it is. I love that movie. And it's funny, I'm planning a family movie night, a weekly family movie night, Monday nights. Whenever I posed the idea, they all asked about rules, so I came up with rules and we worked together on it. We set a runtime limit, which I'm cool with, all that good stuff. They tried to set, and they did end up setting an age limit. Q was like, Colton, if you pick some movie from 1850, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to pick something that I don't think you'll like. I'm going to pick something that if you go into it with an open mind, I might change your fucking life a little bit, man. You might all of a sudden like something you didn't like before if I show you the right fucking movie.
Speeding up the process for you.
That's what I'm trying to do. Because I wish for the life of me I had gotten there earlier. And maybe I wasn't meant to. Maybe that's just not something that's supposed to happen. It doesn't happen for a lot of people, like my family, but my parents even were like, I don't really want to watch something. Like Griff was like, can we not do any black and white movies? I went, I will not agree to that.
Yeah.
I was like, I will not agree to that. You can set an age limit. There are black and white movies made last year, like I'm like,
Logan, black and white.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Frances Ha, one of my favorites. I love Frances Ha. 2012, Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig movie. Love that movie. Black and white. My black and white movies are beautiful, dude.
Oppenheimer.
They can be. Oppenheimer has some black and white. Yeah, yes. French Dispatch is a little black and white. Hey? They're going to get some fucking West, dude. All of his movies fit the criteria. But yeah, that's that neither here nor there, but that's something like I just think that people need to have just need their horizons broadened sometimes, even if it's, thrust upon them. Like I'm gonna have them watch this. I'm gonna have them watch something that maybe they wouldn't watch otherwise, and
maybe they don't like it, But
maybe they don't like it, and then at least they know.
They know what they don't like, and
exactly. As long as they don't go into it thinking I am not going to like this, that's the other. That's the other thing. Is if you go into something thinking I'm not going to like this, if it wins you over, great. That's rare though.
Yeah, not a good mindset to go in with.
No, that's not a good mindset for any scenario. Sure. But yeah. All right, cool.
That's was that my question or was
that was my question?
Yes, right. Okay, so I got one for you, I guess, coming up here. Let's see. I think I asked you the most influential moments in cinema history, but I guess this one did probably require a lot more research. Did you find any people or that were very impactful, or who you think?
I didn't do a ton of research. I went mostly off the top of my head.
Which is good, I guess. Yeah, I would need the research, but your repertoire of movie knowledge is actually
and
you
again,
are the research.
I could go back to, and don't get me wrong, I could benefit from research, but part of the motivation for this for me was trying to do as much of it off the top of my head as I could.
On the spot.
So I could go again to the Lumiere brothers who created the film camera. That's obviously a big one. Going back to ILM and Star Wars, George Lucas, pretty massively influential. Let's see. I did take down a list here. Here they are. Okay. Jack Warner. A lot of the most influential people in movie history are executives, whether you like it or not. And I certainly don't, but they are.
Do you have
Jack
any
Warner?
Actors, I guess on the.
I don't have any actors. I don't have any actors. I have directors. I have directors, writers, and studio heads. That's what I have. And Jack Warner and Carl Laemmle are my studio heads here. And Walt Disney, but he was also a writer and just foundational in every way. Carl Laemmle founded Universal Studios. Jack Warner founded Warner Brothers. Walt Disney founded Disney. We still deal with all three of those companies today. And they changed movies, like they fundamentally shifted what movies were. Like it's just how it is, and there's no way around that. Director wise, Akira Kurosawa, John Ford, and that's like me throwing it back, like the old westerns, John Ford, the samurai and crime and anything Akira Kurosawa did. They were influential purely on a filmmaking level too, like even beyond what they might have contributed to movies, beyond their movies. Like their movies are foundational texts for people who want to make movies, and that's cool.
Movie Bibles of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. And their movies were movie Bibles for some of the more other influential directors ever. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. Those are their holy texts, so got to give them the credit there. One of the other most influential directors of all time, who not only has just made 50 years worth of brilliant movies and is still going, but founded the World Cinema Project and has dedicated a lot of his life to film restoration and preservation and keeping movies alive, is Martin Scorsese. Like there's another level to the love of movies he has that I think kind of transcends purely just being a really talented director whose movies are going to be influencing filmmakers.
He's just a cute little guy too.
He's just a sweet little guy.
He's just, just the best little guy.
I love Marty. I love Marty.
I want to sit down and have a tea with Marty.
Let's
or
have,
coffee. Whichever he prefers.
Let's have a cuppa, Marty. I love me some Marty, and I think that his contributions to the preservation and enrichment of movies generally is hard to compare to anybody. Now, on the flip side of that, I do think that there's influential in a generally broad strokes negative way.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's mostly modern.
Kevin
Feige.
Wow.
Kevin Feige, who gotta give it to him. It to him. This is
a little. Yeah, but
didn't do okay for a little. Yeah. Did great for a long time. Yeah. That's why he's so influential. Is because he did so great for a long time. Yeah. But I think that, and maybe we could even go Ted Sarandos, Netflix.
True.
Again, founded on a good principle, a good idea, one place to get all your movies. Yep. Then every place wanted their movies and their streaming services. Now streaming services have everything. Now we're getting streaming original stuff. They're pumping out content, which I do think finds its roots more with the MCU, and I think that's a little bit more Kevin Feige influenced. Bob Iger, Disney CEO, Hellscape. David Zaslav, Hellscape. Fucking hate these guys. Hate those two a lot more than I hate Kevin Feige. I want to put that out there, like 100%.
Like Weinstein. Yeah, there's actually
Harvey Weinstein,
bad people.
disgusting,
Yeah,
disgusting.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of
so that's why I'm like,
effects,
there's a lot of negative
I didn't think of
influence
that
too,
at
as much
all.
as positive influence. So I wanted to give a little bit on like, I think that the negative, there's always going to be negatives in terms of any given state of anything. You know, like people generally look at this as a bad time for the movies, and I get that. I do think that there's still brilliant movies being made. You just got to look for them. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do generally think that on a grand scope,
Yeah.
is the quality lesser on a consistent level than it's ever been? Maybe. Maybe at the highest level. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But yeah, I do think that the quote unquote slot machine
Yes.
can be credited to I mean Bob Iger, and a little bit of the blame I think goes to Kevin Feige, maybe a little bit Jon Favreau even. I don't know. There's
totally. No, yeah. It's muddied the water. It's just kind of,
and that goes back to ILM, bro. Like that goes back to ILM, which one of the most influential times in movies ever. They innovate and innovate and innovate, and they innovated to a point where we're now doing the fundamental question of Jurassic Park, which was you were so concerned with whether or not you didn't ask whether you should. So we're getting these live action remakes of animated movies, which I'm not like totally like, Jesus, what are we doing here? You know, I don't care. You're repackaging the story for a new audience, for a younger audience. Go for it. I do think those resources could be used elsewhere, and I think that would be a good idea. But
yeah, good.
Yeah,
I don't know. Thank you for bringing up the other side of the coin. I didn't think of that part of the question at all. I'm surprised that Tom Cruise wasn't. I don't know.
If I was going to pick an actor, Tom Cruise would be up there.
Clint Eastwood, maybe.
Clint Eastwood would definitely be up there. I mean, going back to Jimmy Stewart, Cary Grant, Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Lauren Bacall, like a lot of the most influential actors of all time existed 70 years ago, 75 years ago. That's what makes Tom Cruise such an anomaly, really, is that I can even kind of put him in the same breath as them, and he didn't start working until 50 years ago, 40 years ago.
I want to throw Bruce Lee out there. I don't know if he
influential,
was
maybe... and I did do mostly like influential in the sense of American movies. You know, there's I mean Francois Truffaut and Ingmar Bergman and just a laundry list of art house directors from Europe and Asia and all these different continents all over the world that have influenced movies in ways that hard to comprehend. So like I did go mostly American, but I like I don't know, and the Iger and the Feige, that's true. Yeah, I'm like studio executives have the most influence on movies. Whether we want to believe it or not, they do. Like it just is the way it is.
They make the decisions.
They decide
what is put onto the screen, what makes it out. What is even being made in the first place? What is even being funded? Yeah, it's like it's absolutely everything. And if an actor can be named, that's like even more of a holy shit. Like you have broken through the producer.
Like Marlon Brando. Yeah. Marlon Brando was a big one. He was influential.
De Niro, Al Pacino, maybe.
Relative, and that's why I'm like, I'm trying to think of like, I don't know. I think to be influential as an actor, you have to do more than just be in the acting space. Like, there's almost like it's like talking about, I don't know, athletes a little bit, like Jim Brown, one of the greatest running backs of all time. But what I regard him for is his civil rights work. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a fantastic running back for the Cleveland Browns, but like the panel he was on with Muhammad Ali and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like that's the shit he's known for, you know? So that's kind of the stuff when it comes to actors that it gets a little bit tougher. And that's why like Tom Cruise, I have a tough time putting him in that tier. He's like notably silent on a lot of stuff, you know, like he doesn't say anything unless it's about movies. So like I do think he's had a profound effect on movies.
Maybe
I'm
too
like,
early to tell, but maybe Zendaya, maybe a Timmy, maybe
I'm like
Glenn Powell,
we could be entering a new era, you know. I think that I think a lot of the most influential people to come out of the last 10 or so years will be people of color, and queer people. I think that will be like, just as far as influencing the future of storytelling. Historically, queer stories and stories about people of color are set aside in comparison to a lot of what we've got historically, which is white, straight, cis stories. So like, I do look forward to a day where we can go, who was a massive influence was Ryan Coogler or Jordan Peele or, but even Jordan Peele, he'd regard John Carpenter and, Stanley Kubrick and Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock, a massive one I didn't mention.
Always an onion. I don't know, you got to peel back the layers.
That's why I'm like, when it comes to influence, it's a very broad topic and you could go anywhere with it.
The beautiful thing about it is it's kind of like the rebellious fight, is that any little push forward, any little amount of influence still brought you Jordan Peele. It took Hitchcock. It took all of those people to get you Jordan Peele.
Denzel's a pretty massively influential entity as well.
That's
a pretty massively
stuff there. He does a lot outside.
He does a lot of stuff, but I mean, and like, that's the kind of stuff whenever it comes to like in industry. I don't know every story, which is that's the other part too. When it comes to actors, like, I know Denzel has had direct impact on like Chadwick Boseman being an entity we are all aware of. Glenn Powell wouldn't have the career he has without Denzel and Tom Cruise. Like that's I don't know all the stories. I don't know who has been important to who. I'm sure there's plenty of actors who have had a greater impact than I'm giving them credit for.
I think Samuel L. is like one of the largest donators or something like he donates the most of his salary out of any actor, I think, or something like that. So it's like, there's I don't know. It'd be nice to know all the ins and outs to give people their flowers.
Like the actors, what required a little bit more research for me. But
I like.
All right. Do you want one more question?
Let's see. I don't know what's in the chamber.
Let me see. Let me see what I've got here. Let's end a little lighter here.
Okay.
A little broader. So this will take us a little over an hour and a half, but that's okay. We're around the mark.
The first one. That's perfect. That's good. That's we break the rules a little bit. So we set precedent to do whatever the fuck we want in the future.
Yeah, exactly. We do whatever we want. We do whatever we want. Ooh, I have two questions that are really good.
Ooh.
Oh, we've one of them concerns comfort movies, but we've done comfort movie stuff a lot in the past. I can skip over that. I'm going to go back to what I was about to get into with Tron. What is a film that for you has aged better and better in your head, even though you've only watched it one time?
Yes. I wish there was and there might be a way, I guess, on Letterboxd to just see all the movies that I've seen one time or logged only one time activity. I don't know if that is a filter, but it was kind of hard to think of movies that I have only seen once. But the ones that did come to mind that were, I don't know, staying in my head, I guess those ones felt like they had to be the right answers.
Right. They typically are.
But so I feel like there's some missing out there. I don't know. But the number one, I have only seen it once. I need to see it more, is Cure. There's something to that movie. There's crack in it. There's an energy to it that is different than any other movie there is. I don't know how to explain it, but it has only been a one viewing for me. So that was number one. Number two was El Bete, or I don't know why I said that in Spanish. I don't know French.
El Bete it's La Bete.
Thank you. Yeah, and I don't know why. Yeah, Bete just felt Spanish. And I don't know, they're related language. I don't know, all the languages stem from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but no, man, I don't know, quite the viewing of that movie, and just got me just to think more and more. And even now, I don't understand the green screen. The end quite. It's like, what does that still mean? I don't know. I feel like I need to watch it again. but I still haven't quite done it. I don't know why. It's like a Cure. Why haven't I watched it again? Beast. Why haven't I watched it again? The next one, The Truman Show, a critical.
Man, you've only watched that once, huh?
Yeah, that's a broadening our horizon movie there as well. I don't know. Kind of got me to see Tom Carey? Yeah, Tom Carey. I don't know why.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, like Tom. That I'm like this. No, it's feeling wrong. Brain, heart, stop. But yeah, I always thought of him as just Dumb and Dumber, and that's all I've known him as.
Yeah.
But then actually just getting him in a movie that was just good. I love that movie. But yeah, only one time. And I love. It's a movie that I deeply love. Sunshine was a. Oh my! I love that. I don't know. I love Killian, I guess, and I knew I was kind of going. It was sci-fi. They're heading towards the sun, but I don't know. It was not like fully like Cure, where it had this weird energy to it. But there is something there. I don't know, like the how they got hypnotized by the sun a little bit. I think I don't know. It was interesting to go through. And then I think I don't know if I brought this one up earlier, but Deja Vu, first viewing. Yeah, that's when I brought it up. But Deja Vu, man, that was a meaning just to get around to more Denzel movies, and then just the idea of that movie of a machine that can look anywhere in the world, but 4 hours behind, or 4 days behind, something like that.
4 days,
and like it wasn't even a time machine. It was simply bending space and time. I don't know.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
sick.
To think that like that technology is impossible now, but whenever it could exist, or if it does, then they could be looking at me right now. Like I don't like is this very conversation being looked at from every angle by someone, or it's like it's
4 days from now.
Yeah, and but I don't know, beautiful movie, a cool, interesting, just how they play. I don't know, very creative. I thought, and I love any Denzel I can get, and then Looper was the other one. Just kind of more time movie. I don't know, more. I feel like that's a common thread of like just kind of time. Was a time travel movie that surprised me. That I don't know. I as far as all the sci-fi movies we covered, it was honestly the one I was not that I was like not looking forward to it, but every other movie I feel like I had a lot more to go, or like it was
a lot more sci-fi-y. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this, I don't know, it had a different energy to it, and I really, really enjoyed Looper. And but yeah, all first viewing. But Cure definitely takes the cake for this question.
Yeah, I famously watched that 3 times in 3 days when it first came out. When we first watched it, not when it first came out, but I couldn't help myself. I just kept coming back to it, and I haven't watched it since. So like, I did watch it.
It's kind of a first viewing.
It's kind of a one-time thing. I watched it 3 times, but it was in like I think literally a day and a half.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot. But all right, I love those. I've got just a laundry list here. Tron, I did mention that.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, there's just a lot that are, last couple years, sometimes I think about Dying with Daisy Ridley. Fantastic movie. I've only watched it the one time, and it's just gotten better and better in my head. Another one that I really, really loved, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. We're covering that next week. I've only watched it once. I fucking loved it. Whenever I think of queer stories, it's one of my first go-tos. It's why it's the first one we're covering next week. Perfect Days, the Wim Wenders, Koji Yakusho film, who is also the lead of Cure. So there's that.
Whoa.
Perfect Days. Let's see. I have a list here. I still only watched Monkey Man once. That's not really one that's aging in any capacity for me, though. I don't think it's not aging better. It's not aging worse. It just is in my head. Yeah. Just an interesting one that I've only watched once. Let's see. La Chimera.
Ooh, 100%
might be the takes the cake one. Like I watched it once, and it's one of my favorite movies ever. Let's see. The Insider. Al Pacino, Russell Crowe. Only watched that once. Loved
Is that Cigarettes?
Yeah, the cigarette movie.
Yes. Oh man, that was so good. Yeah.
In the Mood for Love, Wong Kar-wai, 2000 romance film. Loved it. History is Made at Night, 1937 romance film. Watched it once. Loved it. Hard Boiled. Loved it. We covered that, of course.
RRR, dude.
RRR.
Yeah, that's
good
a
one. Yes. That's not a one-timer for me, but that is a good one for you. Let's see. I've got a lot of goodies here. I've watched a lot of movies more than once. That's what I'm finding.
Yeah, it's rare to have one that does stand out that is only a one-time, because I don't know, most of the time if it's good enough or like it's capped, I don't know, you do just have another viewing of
you
it,
eventually revisit it.
yeah,
But it hasn't been the case with some of these. I'm approaching that part of my list here. Give me a moment. Phantom Thread. Daniel Day-Lewis, Paul Thomas Anderson movie, 2017. Adored it. The Age of Innocence, Daniel Day-Lewis, Martin Scorsese movie. Absolutely adore that. Let's see. Brokeback Mountain, very, very good one. Only watched it once. Has aged like fine wine in my head. Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee, love that. Blowout, Brian De Palma, love that. Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, love that. Let's see. Tombstone. I actually watched that for the first time relatively recently, but it just keeps aging better and better in my head. The Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer Western.
All of Us Strangers. Forgot about that one.
All of Us Strangers, a goodie. Yeah, that's also a one-time viewing for me. High and Low, an Akira Kurosawa movie. Love that. 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Ooh, yeah.
One viewing for me, and I mean...
A Clockwork?
What else is there to say?
Is that Orange?
Clockwork Orange? That's a one-time for me. That's a one-timer for me.
So. Yeah.
So I'm like, Dreams, Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. That's a one-timer for me. Bram Stoker's Dracula, Francis Ford Coppola, one-timer for me. Double Indemnity, Billy Wilder, 1944, one-timer for me. That's why the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a one-timer for me. That's why I'm like, there's a ton of these for me. So, all of those. That was about as good a recommendation list as you'll ever get.
There you go. Yeah, this very fruitful. I don't know, just this type of episode, just to be able to go from topic to topic. You know, it was just very. I don't know. We branched quite everywhere, but it's just movies. That is all it is, and that's all the beauty. I don't know, is movies go everywhere. They touch everything, but
they touch it all.
That's I don't know. Do you want another, or is that where we're gonna call it?
I think that's a good spot to probably call it. Probably a good spot to call it. We did not get through as much as I thought we would. I think that was... Did I only ask you 3 questions?
Let's see.
Is that right?
Let's see. I was asked dream director and actor combo.
Oh, I also asked you at the front what your most recent viewings were and stuff. I just didn't write that down.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. But man, okay, there we are. Yeah, so I guess we know, we love to talk. And if we love movies that we're talking about, it's going to happen for a little longer than we probably anticipate. So,
hell yeah.
I guess there were some big questions as well.
There were.
So, but
yeah, so with that, I think we can conclude this episode of Cinementalists. Thank you for joining us for this little bonus one-on-one Q&A. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing it again eventually when we have another break in the schedule. Don't know when that'll be, because we like to stay busy. Just happened to line up here. Mission Impossible coming to an end, and we start Pride Month next week, baby. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Queer, Moonlight, I Saw the TV Glow, and The Handmaiden covered all next month. I'm so excited. We are also doing Fire Pod with Me, a Twin Peaks podcast. We are in the midst of season 2 right now. It's friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. You have to have seen up to where we are at. And if not, I think it would be a bad idea to listen to it. Yes. I don't know why you'd want to either. So there's that. Before long, we're going to be starting Geek with Me, a nerd shit podcast. It's going to be the rebrand for Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Decided we weren't going to dedicate every single week to Star Wars. It's kind of impossible. It'll still be a lot of Star Wars, but we're going to broaden the horizons a little bit with Geek with Me, fantasy, sci-fi, comic book shit, all of that. Geek with Me. Geek with Me. Go ahead and check it out. But yeah, I think with that, I will ask you to leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. Share the episode with a friend, and have a beautiful night. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, go watch some good fucking movies, baby.